Which one do you think? You think it's made up, or you think that God knows something that we don't? I don't know about you, but I'm a Christian, so I believe the Bible. And I believe that God knew this ahead of time, and he said there will be 10 nations, 10 mega kingdoms in a one-world government. Let's notice how close we are. I'm going to move on past this. I have lots more to go. Here's a round table. Here are some of the organizations that are working with the central organization in the middle right here. You have the Trilateral Commission, founded by Zbigniew Brzezinski and David Rockefeller in 1973. You have the Council on Foreign Relations, which, by the way, most high-power senators and representatives in our government are members of the CFR. John McCain, Barack Obama, Dianne Feinstein, Barbara Boxer, Joe Biden. Many, many people are members of the CFR. Rick Warren, many pastors are members. Every single CEO of the corporate media is also members of the CFR. CNBC, MSNBC, Fox News are all part of the same club, friends. The United Nations, the Bilderberg Group, the Club of Rome, the Royal Institute of International Affairs is like the CFR of Great Britain. They're all a round table, but inside are the power players. Who are the power players in the world that are controlling things in the world? This book right here calls them the agencies of evil. Let's notice what this says here. I want to put a picture of a Christian lady named Ellen White. She was a Christian historian. I believe she had inspired insight. She wrote in a book called Evangelism, page 622, the following. The world is a theater. The actors, its inhabitants, are preparing to act their part in the last great drama. With the great masses of mankind, there is no unity except as men confederate to accomplish their selfish purposes. God is looking on. His purposes in regard to his rebellious subjects will be fulfilled. I want to pop down here. A power from beneath is working to bring about the last great scenes in the drama. Satan coming as Christ and working with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in those who are binding themselves together in what? Notice what this Christian author said, put together the fact that people in secret societies were against Christianity. Did you know that most Christians back then in the 1800s were against Freemasonry? They were against secret societies. By the way, did you know that there used to be a political party back in the 1800s after the murder of a man named Captain William Morgan? Captain William Morgan was, you can look this up, he was a third-degree Freemason who left the order, and he exposed Freemasonry by writing a book talking about the secret initiation rites of Freemasonry in the first, second, and third degree. He was kidnapped by about 5 Freemasons and killed. This was caused such an uproar in the 1860s, I believe it was, that the American people actually said, we do not want any Freemasons in any government, and there was a third political party that was formed. It was called the Anti-Masonic Party. They actually put a person for presidential candidate. Now, I want to see how many of you know your American history. This party changed its name because it was long, Anti-Masonic Party. They changed their name to the Whig Party. Does anyone know what the Whig Party became? No? Anyone know what the Whig Party became later on in the 1900s? What's that? No. No, they were anti-Masonic. No? They became the Republicans. The Whig Party became the Republican Party. Very interesting that the Republican Party used to be called the Anti-Masonic Party, and I am willing to guess that many Republicans today in Senate and political leadership are Masons now. Very interesting. Kind of a what do you call that? A catch-22. It's a kind of interesting that the party began by saying we are against Freemasonry. Notice what this says. Here is a symbol of the Illuminati. Who is behind secret societies? Well, let me share with you that the Illuminati is behind secret societies, but there is another power behind the Illuminati. Here you have the symbol of the Illuminati, this great truncated. How many of you have ever seen this symbol before, the pyramid? The Great Pyramid represents the hierarchy of secret societies. If you notice that in the pyramid there are 13 rows of blocks, representing, that is a satanic number, 13, with the all-seeing representing rebellion against God, has an all-seeing eye up there, which is the all-seeing eye of Horus or Lucifer, and the capstone is surrounded by a sun disk, which if you look deep enough into Freemasonry, they will tell you that's actually not the sun. That is actually the Eastern star called Sirius, or the dog star. And Freemasonry has a female counterpart. Does anyone know what the females are called? The Order of the Eastern Star, the Order of Sirius. My great-grandmother was an Order of the Eastern Star. And so here it is, the Order of Sirius, the dog star. Novus Ordo Seclorum, a new order of the ages, or a new world order, created, right there, it says MDCCLXXVI, Latin numerals. We know that is numbers, right? Created in 1776. May 1st, 1776, the Illuminati was created by a Jesuit priest named Adam Weishaupt. If you disbelieve me, go to any encyclopedia. It will tell you that Adam Weishaupt was the creator of the Bavarian Illuminati in 1776. He was a Jesuit. He was a Catholic. He was actually not just a Catholic, he was the professor of Roman Catholic canon law at Ingolstadt University. So who created the Illuminati? According to the encyclopedia, the Catholic Church. The Roman Catholic Church created the Illuminati. Now, why did they do that? The reason why was because by 1776, the Jesuit order, called the Society of Jesus, the Jesuit order, friends, had become the most ruthless order on the world. They had been banished from every European country by that time, and so they had to have another front organization to try to control the world, especially finance. The Illuminati is especially interested in controlling world finance. Let me just show you some history right here. There it is. The symbol of the Illuminati on the dollar bill. They want to control finance. Here's a very interesting article by Hegelian Dialectics and Conspiracy. This is a Christian man, by the way. I don't know what denomination he's from, but he's a genius. I love this article. He says there is a relationship between finance, centralization, and world hegemony, or world control. Until the outbreak of the First World War, money appeared to be a mere mechanism. But the arrangements made to finance World War I reveal that the money system was in fact the vehicle of a policy. Now, what is the policy of the moneymakers of the world, the bankers? The policy is the centralization of power leading progressively to world government. The banking system is intent on having a world bank. How many of you have heard of, do we have a world bank today? It's called the World Bank. How many of you have ever heard of the International Monetary Fund? It's the World Bank. How many of you heard that the International Monetary Fund, that many people in our government and throughout the world want the International Monetary Fund to be the world's bank? We're looking at a new currency coming soon. Here it is again. Revolution is always recorded as a spontaneous event by the politically or economically deprived against an autocratic state. Western textbooks never reveal the evidence. Why? Because it's public education, one of the Communist Manifesto planks. Western textbooks in public schools never reveal the evidence that revolutions need finance. And the source of the finance, in many cases, traces back to where? To Wall Street. Now, let me give you a little quick quiz about that. Does anyone know which bank, let me just backtrack. Who were the Allied powers in World War II? Come on, Americans, who were the Allied powers? U.S., England, and, well, Britain is England. Okay. U.S., England, and who? And Russia. That's right. Now, who were the Axis powers? Okay, Germany, Japan, and there was actually one more. And Italy. Okay, good. So you have the Allied and the Axis powers. Now, did you know that the same banks funded the Allied and the Axis powers? Now you're saying you're a nut, you're a conspiracy theory, you're crazy. No, let me give you evidence. Now I don't have all this on the screen, but I can give you if you really press me to, I'll give you the information. I'll send you there. But does anyone know which company funded the German war machine? Well, okay. Well, you popped out. Okay, you two popped out with something ahead of time. There was actually some. I'm talking about those who are not conspiracy theorists like you ladies. Okay. I.G. Farben, that's exactly right. I.G. Farben was the one that funded, that was the German war machine, putting the tanks and the panzers and all these things together. But wait a minute, Germany does not have the natural resources to come up with the steel and to come up with the oil. Does Germany an oil state? No. Where did Germany get the steel for I.G. Farben to build their tanks and their planes, and where did they get the oil to be able to run them? You just mentioned them. One was Ford Company, and the other one was Standard Oil. Ford and Standard Oil were behind I.G. Farben funding the steel and funding the oil to the Nazi war machine to make money. Andrew Carnegie was part of the steel industry as well. The Rockefellers were part of that. Now, let me say this. Does anyone know where I.G. Farben got their loans from? It was called Chase Manhattan Bank. Does anyone know who was in charge of Chase Manhattan Bank? Now, today we call it J.P. Morgan Chase, after J.P. Morgan, who was a Roman Catholic, Jesuit, he was a Knight of Malta, and David Rockefeller. David Rockefeller, one of the richest men in the world back then. Now, Chase Manhattan Bank is the Rockefeller Bank. Does anyone know who the manager in the managing department was in World War II who actually wrote the checks to I.G. Farben to fund the Nazi war machine? Yes, that's exactly right. You get an A+. Nate, say that louder just so everyone hears you, so that they don't think that I'm just the only nut around here. Who was it? Prescott Bush, who is the grandfather of George W. Bush, the last president. Prescott Bush and the Bush family was also part of the Nazi war machine. You're saying you're a nut. I'm going to show you slides of those who were Nazis. Are you ready for this, friends? I told you, some of you may be angry at me. I can't believe this. Friends, how many of you believe the Bible? Believe the Bible? Do you believe the Bible where it says that all the kings will commit fornication with Babylon the Great? Who is Babylon? Babylon was the great system of Roman Catholicism. So the Bible, if the Bible is accurate, that means that all the presidents and princes and kings in the world in the end of time will cooperate with the Roman Catholic Church. You don't believe me? Let me show you how Hitler was Roman Catholic. Let me show you how the Sieg Heil, that Hail Hitler sign, was actually a Roman Catholic salute. I'll show you how the priests did a Roman Catholic salute. Let me just show you now. Let's go on. I have lots of slides. Well, this is so interesting. Here's Albert Pike, 33rd degree Freemason and Illuminatus Master. We already went all through this. List of 33rd degree Freemasons. Here's Albert Pike himself. Albert Pike himself says that the Masonic religion should be, by all of us initiates at the high degrees, maintained in the purity of the Luciferian doctrine. Freemasonry is not Christian, it is Luciferian. And here are different people who are Freemasons. Bill Clinton, Buzz Aldrin, Yasser Arafat, Winston Churchill, Jimmy Carter, Henry Kissinger, General Douglas MacArthur, Robert McNamara, Thurgood Marshall, Karl Marx, Joseph Mazzini, on and on, John Wilkes Booth, Tony Blair, M.H. Barroso, Bob Dole, Shimon Peres, Newt Gingrich, Barry Goldwater, Mikhail Gorbachev, Reverend Billy Graham, Saddam Hussein. By the way, you don't believe Billy Graham's a Freemason? Maybe I'll have to put a slide on him. I can show you pictures of leaders giving Freemasonic handshakes, and I have a picture on my computer right here, matter of fact. You want to see it afterward? I'll show you Billy Graham like this with a Freemasonic handshake with the former president who was a former Grand Master of the Freemasonic Lodge, and his name was Harry Truman. And he's giving a handshake to Harry Truman, and he has a Masonic symbol on his breast like this, giving a finger over the knuckles, Freemasonic handshake. Reverend Billy Graham is a Freemason, along with Robert Schuller, Joseph Stalin, Harry Truman, Paul Warburg, Brigham Young, Prince Philip, Oral Roberts. You say, Brigham Young, he's a Mormon. All the hierarchy of the Mormon church are also Freemasons. By the way, ask, next time you get a knock on your door, you know about those little blonde-haired boys knock on the door, 2 and 2 ride bicycles. They have a little thing on there. They say, elder so-and-so. They're like 19 years old. They say, elder. Hi, would you like to know more about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? Ask them, say, do you wear magical pajamas? You say, what are you talking about? Ask those young boys if they wear magical pajamas. And you'll probably see them get very uncomfortable. If they're good Mormons, they are required to wear, it's almost like those old union suits, the one-piece thermal underwear. Good Mormons wear pajamas or union suits underneath their clothes with buttons on them with the square and compass Freemasonic logo on their buttons. They believe that it keeps them free from being possessed by demons and things like this. Good Mormons are required to wear magical pajamas. Ask them. So next time they say, we're just a Christian church, say, do you wear magical pajamas? Ask them. Then ask them this. If they really believe they're Christians, say, do you believe that God, the God that we serve, our Heavenly Father, Elohim, do you believe that He was once a man that came from a solar place in the solar system called Coli? Ask them. Ask them. Just ask them. Say, do you believe that God, Elohim, has wives that He has intercourse with and has spirit babies, and that Jesus and Satan are brothers? Ask them. If they're true, they'll tell you, yes, we do believe that, but you're not supposed to know.